I don't know where he is. All I was given was this note.
To whom it may concern. First of all, it's not your damn business to know where I went nor why I left. I just need to get away from it all for a while. However, I didn't leave you with nothing, so I recorded a few more reviews before I left. Simply speak the following password, and they will be posted one at a time. Sincerely, Straight Up Reviews. P.S. I don't care what Goku fans think. Superman won Death Battle fair and square, and if you plan on lynching me, you'll have to catch me first.
Well, let's see what he did. The password is... no bullshit.
Oh, I don't fucking think so.
Welcome to Straight Up Reviews, where there's no bullshit beyond the sign. Direct-to-videos have a mess of history. They either end up as being worse sequels to great works, or neglected potential. In this case, it ends up resurrecting a series that was nearly long dead and did so for better and for worse. This is Scooby-Doo, Zombie Island.
If you want to praise something for its continuation or condemn it for extending something that should have died before Vincent Price, look no further than this movie. While Pup Named Scooby-Doo was considered to be the last show due to its prequel status, the final title was reserved for 13 Ghosts of Scooby-Doo, as Zombie Island follows the same kind of vein, moving from men in masks to real monsters.
However, unlike 13 Ghosts, which is still a kid-friendly comedy, Zombie Island was considered the darkest addition to the franchise, a feat that was topped off by Mystery Incorporated. When I first watched this movie, I was terrified beyond belief. You heard it, folks. Scooby-Doo scared the hell out of me. As for why, let's find out.
The film opens with a typical Scooby-Doo case that gets solved before it cuts to Daphne Blake, who is now a talk show host.
While we don't know what her usual topics are since she's being interviewed in this case, I imagine a Jerry Springer-style show where monsters are fighting over who the father is.
She laments to the Oprah knockoff that she wished she could find some real monsters and ghosts, which prompts Fred to sport an I have an idea pace.
I'd call bullshit on this one because Daphne has seen real monsters, from the Boo Brothers to the Joker to 13 Ghosts, but it's possible she doesn't talk about them without proof she doesn't have. It's a lot smarter than I give her credit for.
Meanwhile, Shaggy and Scooby are working at the airport to search for contraband.
Gee, a hippie and a dog searching for drugs and weapons at an airport in a kid's movie. What can possibly go wrong?
They don't find any of either, but they find lots of food which they promptly eat. This in turn gets them fired.
You can thank these two for TSA's strict laws. They used to be the X-ray machine we have now.
Velma, on the other hand, is working on a bookstore which sells mystery and paranormal novels that she'd rather solve than sell.
In case you didn't notice, this was one of the first of many times that Mystery Inc. split up to cover different jobs. In this case, it was meant to reflect that they could have been what they could have been doing when the show was over. It's pretty touching that Hanna-Barbera treats their characters like regular people, even with their shows long gone. However, that moment becomes jagged and cliched once the live-action movies come out.
Anywho, Shaggy and Velma get calls from Fred and they meet up to surprise Daphne on her birthday. As a present for her, they restart Mystery Inc. and travel to New Orleans.
Sorry fans, no Mardi Gras.
But in keeping with the spirit of that holiday, they travel around and search for haunted houses, mostly with usual Scooby success, much to Daphne's disappointment.
It's actually very interesting because it describes their characters as a whole. Even though they always do the right thing in the end, they prefer to see paranormal experiences for real over accidental heroism.
As they lament their failure to find real ghosts, they are met by Lena, the chef of Moonscar Island, who tells them about a haunted house there. Fred is immediately smitten with Lena, much to Daphne's jealousy.
I'd say he's cheating on her, but we never really got a solid grasp on Fred and Daphne's relationship. Are they friends, boyfriend, girlfriend, fuck buddies, husband and wife? We assume either were, but none of the original show ever really explored on it, short of him saving her when she's kidnapped. This movie pretty much only gives a slight clue to it, and is the first in the franchise to do so.
While Fred is skeptical of the claim, Velma somewhat confirms of the strange happenings, saying that there have been disappearances on that island. They follow Lena to the bayou and catch the ferry and meet the captain, Jacques, who seems friendly enough to give them a free ride. However, slight tension arises when Lena gets nervous around Scooby, which she chalks up to her employer having cats. After a run-in with Big Mona, the uncatchable catfish, Shaggy and Scooby fall overboard, nearly becoming croc chow, but are saved by a local fisherman named Snakebite, who is pissed at them for interfering with his capture of Big Mona.
They of course list him off as suspect number 1, which is no surprise considering he's voiced by Mark Hamill. Hamill always plays the villain of Durkin cartoons, especially in the 90s.
They arrive on the island and make it to the mansion, where we meet suspect number 2, Bo Neville, the gardener. We also see that the entire mansion is crawling with more cats than the Simpsons cat lady.
If J-Dub was on that island, he would never leave.
This of course sets off Scooby's more natural instinct, destroying Bo's hard work in the process.
This guy takes his gardening way too seriously, kinda like someone else I know.
What? Scooby also accidentally crashes into the owner of the house, Simone Lenoir, who is upset at first but intrigued that they came to see their haunted house. She explains that among most things, the land used to be a pepper plantation that sells the hottest peppers in Louisiana, much to Scooby and Shaggy's delight. She lets them explore on the condition that they keep Scooby away from their cats, by any means necessary, so naturally they let Scooby and Shaggy into the kitchen.
Are you mad, Lamont? It's like locking a guy from the storage closet or Jackie Chan in a furniture factory.
After sampling the gumbo, Shaggy and Scooby try the famous hot peppers, which are so hot that they cause a false alarm screen that alerts the gang to their situation.
Jesus, and I thought ghost peppers were the limit. Then again, these ones are found in a haunted house.
While the gang tours the house in the traditional Scooby-style fashion, Shaggy and Scooby have an encounter with a ghost who carves a message on the wall. This alerts the gang for real as they read the full message.
Wait, I thought Amityville was in New York, not Louisiana. Damn Google Maps.
When Daphne reports on it, she gets a chill similar to the one Shag and Scooby gets when a new word appears.
Beware? Beware of what? Beware of dog? Beware of the Superman? Beware of flying spaghetti monsters? I hate when ghost messages get vague. If they can write, they should not sugarcoat it and say,
"Get the fuck off the island or you'll die, dumb fucks."
As if that didn't send a clear message enough, Velma gets levitated, much to the not shock of Fred.
Seriously, dude, you've been seeing the writing with your own eyes.
They get Velma down and start reviewing the footage, when they find the ghost, whom Simone claims to be Morgan Moonscar, the infamous pirate the island is named after. Fred, of course, debunks it as a hologram.
Damn it, Fred, I expect this kind of skeptic shit from Velma.
Meanwhile, Shaggy and Scoop pack up for a picnic when Velma discovers behind the warning wall is the name of Moonscar's ship, the Maelstrom. Simone explains that Moonscar may have buried treasure on the island.
Ooh, a MacGuffin. Of course, Fred had to confirm that one. And you're probably wondering why I keep harping on old Fred here. You'll see.
Meanwhile, Shaggy and Scooby pass peppers to one another.
Things they do to get away with stoner scenes in kids' shows. I'm gonna go light a sandwich.
They encounter the cats and the fishermen once again before falling into a hole. As if their problems weren't enough, they have a nasty run-in with Moonscar's zombie.
Wait. That's a skeleton turning into a rotting corpse of a pirate that's been dead for 200 years. That got dark real quick.
Of course, after finding Bo and the gang, they investigate and find nothing. Velma immediately suspects Bo while Daphne is smitten with him. Of course, Fred gets jealous.
Hypocrisy, thy name is Fred Jones. Oh wait, now I get it, they're swingers. What, the show's been around since the 60s, it could happen.
They stay the night due to the ferry being closed for that time, while Lena continues to put the moves on Fred, even putting him and Daphne in separate rooms.
Wow, I feel bad for Daphne, but you gotta admit, Lena burned her on that one.
While the gang prepare for dinner, Shaggy has a run-in with a dead Confederate soldier, warning him to get away.
so it's no different than a live Confederate soldier.
They run into Fred's room while he's in the middle of ditching his trademark ascot.
You bastard, I can take the skeptic out of you, but do not mess with the ascot. Not after what happened to Aaron Yeager.
The gang investigate the room when Velma discovers two things. one, she lost her eyeglass cleaning cloth, and two, the mirror belonged to Jackson Pettigrew, a soldier who was part of the barracks on this island.
No, he's not related to Peter Pettigrew, though I wouldn't be surprised if he joined the Confederates out of fear.
After round 3 in the Cats vs. Scooby fight, Shaggy and Scooby instead eat in the mystery van, so that way they wouldn't be out there to face Moonscar. It also gives them the advantage of driving away with the Cats if they want round 4.
Those cats really have it in for Scooby. It's like the copies in Lost World. It just won't stop.
While Daphne, Velma, and Fred argue about whether or not the monsters are real, Shaggy and Scooby have more Moonscar peppers.
Guys, your addiction is going to get you killed one day.
And it almost did when they drink from the swamp water and run into an entire army of zombies. They run into Bo and alert the gang, who in turn runs into Bo. The gang, of course, splits up, with Daphne and Fred in one group, as well as Velma and Bo in the other, while they look for Shaggy and Scooby.
They always split up when bad things happen. You'd think in the 90s they'd learn by now.
Velma and Bo trade blows with one another, as she still suspects him, but she warms up to him when he saves her from quicksand. Daphne and Fred, on the other hand, have better luck when they find the mystery van full of freshly eaten crawfish. It's then and there they argue about their respective crushes. But in a surprising twist, Daphne gets a drop on the monster this time.
Damn, she's been pretty much kidnapped for 30 years, and now she starts kicking ass.
Of course, she accidentally hurt Shaggy, mistaking her for another zombie before they decide to unmask it.
I wonder who that could be. The gardener? The fisherman? The ferryman? Or... Either Fred just ripped off the zombie's head, or he just committed murder on the man in the mask.
Of course, the zombie comes to life, and all hell breaks loose, as the gang, for the first time ever, have live monsters on tape. And joining the Confederates and pirates are modern-day tourists as well.
Whatever you do, don't let them take a picture of you.
They hear Lena scream and accidentally destroy the camera, robbing them of any proof, as they try to beeline it for the mansion. At one point during the chase, one of the zombies hands Shaggy a rope to help Scooby.
Now, normally this would be the typical gag in a Scooby-Doo episode, but this one comes into play later on. However, before I get into this, I'd like to point out this is the part that was why I was terrified of this movie in the first place. While the gang has been in dangerous situations before, they are often unharmed, even when kidnapped by the thugs dressed as monsters. However, here they are surrounded by the living dead. No weapons, no plan, no man in a mask, and they almost get killed every step of the way. This is not your average Scooby-Doo episode. If it were, the Harlem Globetrotters would be rescuing them by now.
Daphne and Freddy run into Velma and Bo, while Shaggy and Scooby find a cave full of voodoo dolls of their friends. Naturally, they start dicking around with them, causing unknown havoc among them.
Why is it whenever something dangerous and supernatural happens, the people that stumble upon it are a stoner and his dog not knowing any better? It's a miracle no one dies in Scooby-Doo.
After being scared out by bats, Shaggy and Scooby drop the dolls, inadvertently saving their friends while running into more zombies. Velma, Bo, Fred, and Daphne make it to the mansion and find the power is out, and Simone and Lena are missing. Fred and Daphne find a secret entrance, as well as Lena, who claims that the zombies have taken Simone away. However, Velma suspects otherwise when she spots some shoe prints leading further into the entrance.
Of course, Fred and Daphne don't care about that since they now escalated their jealousy into silent arguments.
The gang ventures to the entrance where they discover 2 more tunnels, with the shoe prints leading to one. Taking Velma's advice, they follow the one with the prints to find themselves in the same room Shaggy and Scooby stumbled upon earlier. Velma makes the accusation that Simone wasn't dragged, and that she walked into the room they were standing in. Simone then reveals herself and opens the skylight, letting the moon in. Using the dolls, she restrains the gang before revealing that she and Lena are cat creatures.
Yep, J-Dub would definitely not leave this island.
These particular ones are much like Stephen King's Sleepwalkers, in which they drain the life force of human beings to maintain their eternal youth. The zombies are what's left of them. While Shaggy and Scooby run to Jacques for help, it is revealed that he too is a cat creature, causing a surprising twist of a cat that is chasing a dog.
I never really liked that Jacques off.
It turned out the reason for their power was because Moonscar, in a bid to keep his treasure a secret, killed all but 2 of the cat-worshipping settlers and fed them to the crocs. The 2 that survived, Lena and Simone, prayed to their god to help them punish Moonscar for his crimes. The zombies then on were just collateral damage to preserve their immortality and adapt to societies at the time, including the plantation that invented Moonscar peppers.
Okay, I was wrong. People do die in Scooby-Doo. As for Jock, he just wanted immortality. Why couldn't he just be a normal villain and steal Dragon Balls?
Before Jacques can get Shaggy and Scooby, the zombies swarm in on him Captain Rhodes style, giving them the chance to run directly into the cave, stopping the creature from feasting on the gang and also knocking the voodoo dolls within their reach.
Okay, there's Clumsy and there's Shaggy's heroic Clumsy. It's pretty much Peter Sellers style of heroics here.
Having enough of the dogs, Simone and Lena transform further to try to kill Shaggy and Scooby, who accidentally knock the dolls near the flame and nearly melt the gang.
Seriously, what the fuck? How many times are they gonna kill, or even try to kill the Scooby gang in this movie?
However, they get the dolls out of the fire in time, and Velma manages to get hers within reach. It now becomes an all-out war as the zombies and Jock make it to the tunnel, with the zombies fighting the cat creatures and Jock grabbing Shaggy and Scooby.
Zombies versus cat creatures with the Scooby gang caught in the middle. Amazing. Simply amazing. All that's missing is some heavy metal music playing in the background.
Velma gets loose and unties the others, while she finds a piece of Lena's shredded clothes. Shaggy and Scooby manage to subdue Jock by macing him with Moonscar pepper juice, but it seems too late as Lena and Simone grab Shaggy and suck the life out of him.
Don't do that, you don't know where they've been.
However, Velma and Daphne save them just in time, making voodoo dolls out of them. This stalls them long enough for their time to run out, killing them for good and freeing the zombie souls. As they leave the cave, Bo reveals himself to be an undercover cop investigating the missing tourist cases. Daphne and Fred rekindle whatever the hell relationship they had to begin with. A possible relationship begins with Bo and Velma, and they all leave the island, but not without Scooby snagging a few more Moonscar peppers for the road. However, it seems as though the cats are ready for round 5. No, not really.
And that's Zombie Island. Not only was this movie responsible for resurrecting Scooby-Doo for better or worse, but it also spawned a series of direct-to-video movies, creating a separate series on its own. Some good, some bad, and some I haven't even seen yet. As usual, debate, argue, and let me know what I missed. Stay tuned for more.